Trends Focus Media Channel tukugamba nti subscribe, like, comment and share. Master Herbert, as usual, back again with English Premier League results. And here on our desk, I have some interesting games, and that is Aston Villa versus Newcastle, Brentford versus Brighton, that is game 2. We have West Ham versus Southampton. We have Crystal Palace versus Bournemouth. That game ended 0-0. Also, we have Everton versus Manchester City. Everton versus Manchester City. This game ended 2 goals, and that is Man City were scored by Kovacic. This one scored in the 90 plus the 2 added minutes. Then the first one was scored by O'Reilly, and that was in the 84th minute of the game. This win gave Pep Guardiola hope to finish among the top 4 or the top 5 in order to represent the English Premier League in the UEFA Champions League next year. According to the statistics, Everton, they had 316 passes when you compare to Manchester City. The team had 664 passes. Ball possession, and that is 68% for team Manchester City and 32% for team Everton. According to pass accuracy, Manchester City, they managed 88%. Team Everton, they managed 78%. According to shots, Team Manchester City, they managed a total of 12 shots, and Team Everton managed only 8. But shots on target, from the 12 shots, has a total for Team Manchester City. Only 7 were shots on target, and Everton, who managed 8 in total, 2 of them were on target. That is Team Manchester City and Team Everton game so far. Game 2, it was between Team Aston Villa against Newcastle. This game was played at Villa Park, and that is the home for Team Aston Villa, with the manager Emily. Remember that Aston Villa, they lost a game in the Champions League, and now their focus is either to finish among the top 5 or top 4 in order to represent England in UEFA Champions League next season. such that they can perform better than how they performed, because they ended at the quarterfinals. Now, Aston Villa, they managed to gain a superb victory against Team Newcastle by 4-1. The only goal for Team Newcastle, the visitors, was scored by Scha in the 18th minute. Team Aston Villa was the first to score through Watkins in the first minute of the game. Then Scha leveled the game in the 18th minute. After that goal from Scha for Team Newcastle, Aston Villa, they continued pressurizing Newcastle. Then they managed to score in the 61st minute through Madsen, and then has too much pressure. Ban scored in his own net. That was an own goal from him in the 73rd minute. Then Onana, the midfielder, also added the first one in the 75th minute to make it 4-1. According to the statistics of the game, Aston Villa, they managed 410 passes compared to Team Newcastle, who managed 417. Ball possession, Team Aston Villa, they had 48%, Newcastle 52%. Pass accuracy, Newcastle 85%, 84% for Team Aston Villa, and that is MRI site. Shots in total, Newcastle, they managed 10, and among the 10, 3 of them were shots on target. Aston Villa, they managed 23 shots in total, and 9 of them were shots on target. That is game 2. But before we continue, we remind you to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Game 3, and that was between Team Brentford and Brighton. Brentford were the host, Brighton were the visitors. The game ended 4-2 in favor of Team Brentford, who scored through Mbeumo, Wissa, Norgard. Mbeumo scored 2 goals. He scored the opener in the 9th minute, then added the second one in the 48th minute of the game. Mbeumo, this is a striker and Cameroonian international star, playing his professional football with Team Brentford. It was a good day for Mbeumo to score 2 goals in one game. Wissa scored the third one after 10 minutes. That is 58 minutes after Mbeumo scored the second one, meaning that Wisa scored in the 58th minute of the game to make it 3 before Nologat added in the 90 plus 5 added minutes of the game. The 2 goals for Team Brighton were scored by Dan Welbeck. This is former Arsenal and Manchester United striker. Dan Welbeck scored in the 55th plus 3 added minutes to end the first half. Then Mitoma scored in the 81st minute of the game. But though Dan Welbeck and Mitoma scored, their score did not help the team to level the game. There was some drama in the game, and that is in the 61st minute when Pedro received a red card, meaning that Brentford played against 10 men for Team Brighton, and this game was played at Tech Community Stadium, the home for Team Brentford. According to the statistics of the game, Team Brentford, they managed 418 passes compared to Brighton, who managed 477 passes. According to ball possession, Team Brighton managed 44%, Team Brentford 46%. When you look at the pass accuracy, Brighton managed 84% compared to Team Brentford, who managed 80%. Shots in total, Brighton, they managed 12 shots, and 3 of them were shots on target. Brentford, they managed 16 shots in total. 8 of them were shots on target. Another game, and the last one, it was between West Ham versus Team Southampton. West Ham were the host and Southampton were the visitors. The game ended 1-1 draw, and the only goal for Team West Ham was scored by Bowen in the 47th minute. Then Hugo Chukwu scored in the 90 plus 3 added minutes for Team Southampton, meaning that Southampton managed to level the game in the dying minutes. We are lucky to end a 1-1 draw. If he was not Hugo Chukwu to score, Team Southampton would have ended up as losers. The game was played in London Stadium, the home base for Team West Ham United. According to statistics, Team West Ham, they managed 478 passes compared to team Southampton, who managed 448 passes. Ball possession, team West Ham were good in possessing the ball compared to Southampton. Southampton, the rate was 48%. West Ham, it was 52%. Pass accuracy, team Southampton, they had 87%. Team West Ham, they had 89%. Shots in total, Southampton, they managed 15 shots and West Ham managed 12 shots. But among the 15 shots for team Southampton, 4 of them were shots on target, and they only scored 1 goal. West Ham, they managed 12 shots in total. 4 of them were shots on target. This is Trends Focus Media Channel. We encourage you to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Master Herbert, as usual. In Luganda, we say subscribing, liking, commenting, ate belanga, or sharinga. Nainga, jeje mipiira egizanyiddwa olunaku olwaleero wali mu English Premier League, era nga tukutegeezezza, as we said before, nti Aston Villa ewangudde omupiira gwayo gwesambye ne Newcastle United, ngera eguwangudde ku goal 4 kwem, scored by Watkins, Matson, Van, ono nga yeeteebye, it was on goal, and Onana, the midfielder general for team Aston Villa, in the 75th minute. Goal yokka bweti, the only goal for team Newcastle, was scored by Ska. Eranga Atebi scored this goal in the 18th minute of the goal of the match, and the game was played at Villa Park. Geno Villa Park, kyekisaawe oba ge maka ga bannaffe aga team Newcastle. Era nga wabaddewo n'omupiira omulala. This game was between Brentford and Brighton. Era nga omupiira guno guwedde 4-2 nga Brentford beba winners ate nga Brighton beba losers. Nenga goal za Brentford ziteebeddwa Mbeumo mu dakiika ey'omwenda 9th minute, mu dakiika 48 48th minute. Even Iwisa scored the second one, ngera ateebye mu dakiika ya 58 58th minute. Ne Norgard ba nga amaliriza bumaliriza kintu mu dakiika ey'ekyenda, edakiika 5 ezongeddwamu, oyinza okugamba nti it is 90 plus 5 added minutes of the game. Nenga the 2 goals for team Brighton ziteebeddwa Dan Welbeck oba Welbeck, ono nga aliko mu Arsenal era aliko omuzanyi wa Manchester United wali during his ages. Elanga currently is playing his professional football at Brighton Albion. Ela, this guy opened the score for team Brighton. Bwakubye goal ennungi mu dakiika 45 mu gaseeka dakiika 3 ezongeddwamu to finish the first half or before the break. Era Mitoma added the second one. Mitoma atebi mudakika ekinana mwemu, that is 81st minute. Era nga mu mupiira guno mubaddemu red card in the 61st minute mudakika nkaaga mwemu, era nga agifunye simulala ye mwana mulenzi Pedro, meaning that Pedro is going to miss the next match. Era nga tutunulira ku mupiira guno abasajja aba Brentford bagezezaako okuba nga basamba naye nga passes bafunyeyo 418, Brighton 477, era mu kugaba omupiira ebitundu 46 ku 100 byebasobodde aba Brentford, ate nga bo aba Brighton ebitundu 54 ku buli 100. Pass accuracy mpozi ezo passes ezimaliriziddwa nga bagikubye nebange etuuse bulungi. Aba Brentford bano ebitundu bade 80 ku 100 ku passes zibadde zikubwa ne zituuka, ate nga Brighton ebaddeko n'ebitundu 84 ku 100. Era batutunula ku shots, bannaffe aba Brighton balina shots 12, Brentford shots 16, ate nga shots on target ezo shots zikubiddwa mu goal wali Brighton balina 3, ate nga Brentford babadde na 8 ku shots 16, 8 bakubye ku target, 8 ogusigaddewo yego ne gutasobola kuba ku target, ate nga bali aba Brighton ku shots awamu 12, 3 zokka zibakubye mu target, era ku 3 ne bateebako goolo zibadde 2. West Ham nagwo gubaddewo guweddemu emu, badde basamba Southampton era mu English Premier League, ngera goolo ya West Ham eteebeddwa Bowen mu dakika 47 47th minute, ate ya Southampton eteebeddwa Ugo Chuku mu dakika 9 edakika 3 ezongeddwamu. Era omupiira guno bwe tugutunuulira nagwo gubadde gwa ndasi okusinziira nga bwe bitambudde, era nga bano nno aba West Ham basobodde okuba paasi zaabwe 478 ate Southampton 448. Mu kugaba omupiira oyinza okugamba ball possession, Southampton babona ebitundu 48 ku 100, ate nga West Ham 52 ku 100. Pass accuracy ezo passes ezikubira ne zituuka, Southampton tugireetinga ebadde ku bitundu 87 ku buli 100 zibadde zituuka, ate nga passes eza West Ham ebitundu 89 ku 100 zibadde zituuka. Shots gino emipiira egikubiddwa nga bagezaako okubali mu ggoolo banoonye eggoolo, aba Southampton babaddeko ne shots 15 naye nga ku 15 zino 4 zokka zigenze ku target era ne bafunako ggoolo emu. Aba West Ham basobodde okuba shots 12 era nga 4 ku zo zibadde ku target era ne bafunayo ka ggoolo kamu. Omupiira ogusembayo gubadde wakati wa Everton ng'esamba Manchester City, ogwo nno gubadde ku Goodison Park, ekisaawe kya Everton guwedde 2-0. Manchester City ekoze comeback okusinza webadde esamba emabega eyo. Basajja b'omusajja ono Pep Guardiola bazze ne bakyekola wali ku Goodison Park ne bateeberawo ggoolo 2 okuyita mu muzannyi O'Reilly, ono nno nga yateebye opener oba ggoolo esoose mu dakiika ey'e84. Ono gubadde gukalubye tebakuba bukujjukujju bwa Guardiola n'omukisa gubadde gukalubye. Everton ebadde egamba nti nzi temumpitako, naye Kovacic n'asobola okubakulira ddala bw'abakubye eggoolo mu dakiika ey'e9 dakiika 2 ezongeddwamu. Era nga bwe tuna ku statistics, Everton esobodde okuba passes 316 bw'ogeraageranya ku Manchester City ekubye passes 664. Pole possession oba engaba y'omupiira, Manchester City egabye ebitundu 80% ate nga Everton ebitundu 32%. Manchester City omupiira egwefuze nnyo bw'ogeraageranya ku statistics zino eza ball possession, era nga bulijjo bwebisamba amanyi bo basamba akapiira kali katikitakatik. Naye nga pass accuracy, Manchester City ezo passes zituuka zibadde ku bitundu 88% ate nga Everton ebitundu 78%. Shots ezikubiddwa zonna awamu, Manchester City ebadde ne shots 12 naye 12 ku zo zituuse bw'ogeraageranya ne Everton ekubye shots 8 era nga 2 zokka ze zituuse, tesobodde kufunamu ggoolo. Yo Manchester City efuna ggoolo. Omupiira oguzanyiddwa omulala gwo guwedde draw 0-0, tewali alengedde kapiira katimba ka munne, gubadde wakati wa Crystal Palace ne Bournemouth. Eyo ye English Premier League. Nenga twongera okujjusa ntukugamba nti subscribinga, likinga, commentinga era oberenga osharinga. Tukwagala nnyo, tukwagaliza birungi byereere, era we send our warmest greetings to all our subscribers around the world, most especially those from the United States of America, United Kingdom, those from African countries like Kenya. Yeah, we love you so much. Don't stop supporting us. We need your support such that we can build a reputation. Shemukola chanjawulo nnyo, and it makes a difference so far for what we are trying to do, because we need to fulfill our vision and mission. Yeah, mwebali nnyo, mwebali ddala, Mukama abakume. We just say bye bye.